In this session, I'll give you a brief introduction about how a product is being designed and developed. I'm not going to talk any complex topic today. It will be very, very basic, but the generic terms which are used in industries will be discussed in this next 45 minutes. Without any further delay, let me move to the introduction or the takeaway from today. So, what will you basically take away from this session? Of course, you will know what is product development and how the success of product development is being measured, and the different stages of product development, and who are all the participants or the stakeholders of the product development, and how the different products are developed in different processes, what drives each product development process. And finally, a case study on automotive development, which talks about the complexity of how the automotive development is, and what are all the various stages of automotive development and the challenges involved in it. To give a brief introduction about myself, I'm working in the automotive development for the past 13 years, currently doing the new program management of the passenger cars globally. With this introduction, let's start this session. First of all, what is a product? I wanted everyone to interact, but unfortunately, we don't have that option today. It's okay. So the product can be anything, starts from a small cotton bud or a food, potato chips, or whatever it may be. Starting from that, a big object like a car, a truck, whatever you say, the things which are produced for the consumption and utilization of the public, we call it as a product usually. And each product, of course, cannot come just like that within seconds. You think about a product, it comes in your hand. No. Each product development process, each product should follow some product development process to attain its final shape and reach the market. Okay. With that introduction, what is product development at first? It's very simple. You see a product in market, any product you take, it can be a chair, it can be a phone, it can be a small the clip which you use to clip your clothes when you are drying it. Whatever you say, that's a product, and how it comes to the market, someone would have thought about it at first. Some idea would have sparked in his mind, and he made some plan on how to manufacture or how to produce that product. And based on that plan, he conducted some experiment. He tried various ways. He tried to use different raw materials. He tried to use whatever is available to meet his plan. And finally, he tested what he produced. And once he gets the confidence that whatever he produced has complete purpose of solving the customer's requirement, it can be launched into the market. This entire cycle of concept to reality, we call it as the product development. Simple terms. Of course, you cannot say this is a standard definition of product development, because product development itself is a management topic. Any management topic cannot be made as a standard definition. To make it more simple, you can say product development is from concept to reality. The idea, whatever comes to the mind, can be anything. I'm just walking over the road. I'm seeing a pothole. I just wanted to close that pothole, but I'm not able to do it right now. So how can I do it? I can buy a lid and close it. What if I can produce the lid, which I can use it throughout the country to close it? If it is at a reasonable cost, I can sell it to the government. I can sell it to any local vendor who can do that. So this idea, which once sparks in our mind and grows and grows and grows, it finally develops into a concept. This concept will make you think how that final product it should usually look like. For example, let us take a simple example to explain the complete presentation. Maybe I'm trying to make a pencil. It's very, very simple pencil used by kids for their writing. So I just want to know how I want to make this pencil and how I want to sell this pencil. So I want to, at first, I want to know what is required in the market. So there are many pencils, many brand of pencils available in the market. So I want to know how I can sell my pencil. What should be my unique selling point for my pencil, and what is expected by the customer as a basic. So customer should have some basic requirement of a pencil. So all this comes in the concept stage, idea generation stage. So once I gather all this idea, I will develop it into a concept. I just think in my mind, okay, the shape of the pencil should be like this, the color of the pencil should be like this, it should have an eraser at the top or no, the lead thickness should be like this, etc., etc. So this comes into my mind, I document it. This gives a concept for my product. So with this concept, I go and start procuring the required equipments and raw materials to produce this pencil. Of course, I need a machinery which produces the pencil. I need some raw material, I need wood, I need lead. If I don't have anything, any of this, I cannot produce a pencil. So I start thinking of what all is required to produce this pencil, and I start procuring it one by one. Once I procure it, I make a trial and I produce a pencil for myself. Now I have a pencil in my hand. So this pencil I want to sell in the market. But before selling, I want to test my pencil. So I want to write it. Let's say that's a B pencil or a HB pencil, whatever it may be. The shine of that lead should follow that particular category of the pencil. So if it doesn't meet it, then I cannot sell it. Even now you can see many HB pencils do not give the same darkness when you write on the paper. So whichever writes dark, I say that is a good pencil. Whichever doesn't, I say that's not a good pencil. So I just want to test myself, my pencil, how good it is, and then I want to bring it to the market. Of course, at a reasonable price. Or there are many other factors when I bring it to the market. This entire cycle of thinking and execution, we call it as the product development at first. Then, what really defines the success of the product development? In industrial terms, we say it in just three letters, that is Q, C, and T. QCT. This is a common industrial term used to define success of any product. You make a quality, you make the correct cost control, and you make the timely development. So quality, what really means quality? It's not that you use the best in best class products or best in best class raw materials. No, that's not the only quality you mean. You mean the quality of the product itself and the quality of the process you make also. So the same pencil example, I'm using the wood and the lead, which is of good quality, so that once you sharpen the pencil, there is a less possibility that the lead breaks. So this defines one of the quality of the product itself. But when it comes to the product development, how which by which process you produce it, that should be a qualified good quality process. If you don't maintain that, maybe for now you don't face any problem, but maybe after a long run, let's say 5 years or 10 years after, you may feel a lot of problem because of not maintaining good quality in your product development phase itself. Talking about the cost, of course, as Indians, we know the value of each and every rupee we spend. So the basic, as a business, you just think from the business point of view. You are a businessman, let's assume. You are going to sell a product, you are going to invest some money in it, and you are expecting some profit from it. You want to plan for it at first. So what you are going to invest 1,000 rupees today, you are going to expect a profit of another 1,000 rupees. So your selling price should be for 2,000 totally. So this is your plan, and what is ultimately you are meeting when you finally bring out the product to the market. And third is time. As you know, now the competition is growing in an exponential way in any market, in any product category you take. The development, the lead time for development is very, very critical. You make a pencil in 1 day or you make a pencil in 2 days. The person who makes the pencil in 1 day will get a profit of that another day fully. If you delay by 1 day, you will lose that profit of selling in the market. So the time of development of the lead time of development of any product is again very, very important. So this simply is called as QCT. Okay, now let's assume you as a product development engineer, you have been assigned a task to develop a product. Any product you can keep in mind. You can think of yourself. Just a few seconds, you just think of yourself, you decide a product and you think what comes to your mind at first if you want to develop a product. You take the same example of as the pencil also. There are many things which comes across in your mind. Many things. You cannot restrict you. If you keep writing it in a paper, you will come across a lot of things. This we generally call it as mind mapping. Whatever comes to your mind, don't restrict, write it in a paper. You will finally frame some skeleton of this development activity with these ideas, whichever came into your mind. Starting with the customer expectation, what the customer in that particular market is expecting from your product, and what more you can give from your product as a value addition, and how you can sell your product more than your competitors, and what is going to be the cost you are going to invest for this product development, and what is the profit margin you are expecting, and what is the performance you are expecting. For example, the product you want to sell should last for only 5 years or 10 years, or should it have infinite life? And what is the within the performance, you can say how the customer handles it. And during the handling of different types of handling by the customers, the performance requirement may vary. And how you are going to manufacture this, you are going to produce this product, which is the best process and the most relied process you can follow. And who will going to support you? You are going to do it in-house, or you are going to get outsourced from a supplier, whatever it may be. And how you are going to manage all these activities. What is going to be your plan for managing all these activities? And how do you maintain the quality, cost, and control of time control of your product? And in case of a complex product, you can say the assembly is another difficulty. You can produce a single standalone product. For example, pencil. Even pencil has some lead and wood need to be assembled together, but it's just simple as that. But if you take the case of an automobile or an aircraft, there are thousands of lakhs of parts you have to assemble. So how you are going to do it? So etc. I wrote only some of them because of the slide size limitation. But if you start thinking about it, you will get a lot of idea about how to develop a product. So once you gather all these ideas, the best way of doing a product development is going to sequence these ideas. What comes first, what comes second, and what comes till the end. So these ideas are broadly sequenced in a generic term. The terms you are seeing here, planning, concept development, system level design, all these are generic terms used in the industrial concept. You can just modify the name based on your need, but to be broadly classified, the overall process of product development falls in this 6-step process. It all starts with planning. Planning includes the idea generation, the market study, etc., followed by concept development. So this concept development will give you a quick idea about how your product will look like. For example, you can see many real estate companies selling their flats. They build a model flat at first. So that model flat is something like a concept they made, which they want to showcase it to the customers directly. But of course, all the other companies do not focus their concept to the customers. This is a typical example, but that is what we call it as a concept development. So you just build a concept at first, you see how it really looks like and what are all involved to develop this product. Just make sure you plan for all this. Followed by the concept development, you will have the system level design. Okay, now you are fixed with a product. Okay, I'm going to manufacture a pencil. So my pencil looks like this. The thickness of the pencil is like this. The color of the pencil is like this. The lead thickness is like this, etc. The wood I'm going to use is this kind of wood, etc. So that concept is now made. So you want to go into the system level design. So you differentiate your whole product into different individual systems. In the case of pencil, you say the lead is one part, the wood which is covering the lead is another part, and the process of making the color over the wood is maybe that paint is another part. So do you manufacture the paint also, you produce the paint also, or you buy it from somewhere else? So this kind of system level design you make. After you make the system level design, you make the detailed design. So once you make the individual lead and the pencil and the paint, you make the detailed design. You try to assemble it, you make it into a product. Whichever you imagined during your concept phase, you make it into a product. And this product finally has to be tested. You cannot just like that develop a product and then sell it. You have to test it. A simple example, let's say you have a quick cook at home. In case if he is not a professional cook, before serving the food to you, he wants to taste the food. That is to ensure that whatever is expected by you is met by his production. So the same way, you want to test what your product is actually intended to build. And then after the testing is successful, you go on and produce in a mass. And between all these 6 stages, any company, any organization, any product, you will have review process which says go ahead to the next step. If there is any deviation in any of these steps, the next review process will immediately stop you from entering into the next process. It gives you a loop to continue, go back, study, and then come again with the proper requirement. So this is how the 6 steps of product development have been broadly classified. And these are the just pictorial representations of what I explained just now. So you plan different verticals. You plan for cost, you plan for production, you plan for the raw materials, you plan for the workforce, etc., etc. You go for review and then you develop the concept. With this plan, you develop a concept. We also call it as prototype in industrial terms. So this prototype, you make it into system level design, and then you integrate it to make it into the detailed design. And finally, you go for testing and refinement, validate it, and then go for the mass production. Okay, with that in mind, we now have the 6-step process, and there should be someone who should carry each process in their shoulders. Of course, if you take an organization, the people who are involved in product development are starting from the marketing team until the manufacturing team and other sections like the HR, like the admin, the finance, etc. They are also contributing to the product development, but if not in a bigger level, their contribution is also required in all these levels. So if you say who are all involved in product development, there will be marketing engineers or marketing managers. There will be design engineers, design managers. There will be testing engineers and managers. There will be manufacturing engineers and managers. And of course, the other entities like HR, finance, etc. All these stakeholders have participation in throughout the product development cycle in all the 6 phases. But who rules what? Who takes the responsibilities on their shoulders in which phase is very important to understand. This is something like a relay race. You have four people running with a bar in the hand. So one person has to run for some distance, give it to the other person. He has to run for some distance, give it to the other person. So that's how you complete the relay race. All four will not run together. So each of them carry the responsibility at one time. Similar to that, you have the stakeholders of the product development who have their responsibilities in their shoulders in each step prominently. So starting from planning. Planning is mainly the task of the marketing department. Of course, the others are also involved, but to a little extent. The marketing members are the most major contributors during the planning phase. They do the market study. They will try to capture what is required by the customers in a specific market and how much profitability can be expected from certain product and how this can be executed as a whole. So this is done by marketing basically, followed by the marketing plus design plus manufacturing during the concept development time. Of course, design is required during the concept development time, but you may wonder why manufacturing is required during a concept development. Because you can design any part in your imagination, but it has to become reality only through manufacturing. So a basic level of manufacturing input is required before we design the concept to understand whether the product is really feasible to launch in the market. And then the bar is being handed over to the design team completely during the system level design. So they make some detailed system level design plan, and they, after they get the go ahead, they make the integration of their system. And here comes the testing as an additional role. This testing is not specific to this phase of testing. So this testing will be done basically by for the system level design, which was done in this phase. So whatever the detailed design done in this phase will be finally tested in the next phase, which is specific to the testing and refinement phase. So here the testing department will put their full efforts to find out whether the product meets the market requirements, and if it doesn't meet, give feedback to the design team, get some design solutions, get it updated and do the testing again. And everything should be done within the planned timeline. That is the key for a product development. And finally, going to the production, mass production phase, again, manufacturing takes the full responsibility of making the part physically with the support of marketing to sell the product in the market. So this is how this relay race works. The product development relay race works.